Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So in last episode, we started simulating more of the Year 9 season, and as you can see so far, we are 27 and 62, so we've already tied our most wins in franchise history that we recorded last season. So this year is already looking like a pretty big success compared to prior seasons. So like the last 3 years, we've managed to win games. This year, I think, is definitely going to be our best season yet, which means I think eventually, at some stage, we should be a team that gets closer to being 500. Obviously, it depends still on the progress of our young prospects in the minors and all that, but I think we're definitely on the right way of doing things, mainly because our pitching has been great. You can see like guys like Parker Iwamura have been fantastic. Walter Jung's been decent enough to win some games. David Nall's been winning some games. Like every pitcher has been doing relatively well, except for I would say Matsui. He's been definitely struggling quite a bit in the early going. We have been getting some good stuff, though, from like relievers like Sato. Yamamoto has been good. Tom Koo's been good. So the future of this team is definitely bright, mainly because of the pitching. The batting hasn't been, I would say, the best on the road, but there has been some strengths like Yamazaki, who's currently batting a 277, Sato on a 264, that type of thing. So just hoping that this team continues to develop in the right way, and hopefully that means that these next few years will be big years for this team. But anyways, before we get into the Year 9 draft, let's get into your guys' comments and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will see what we end up drafting this year and see if we end up adding some good prospects to our prospect pool or not. So the first comment is from Nick Bunker Barons OC, who says, good season, to be honest, and I think so too. I think this team's definitely starting to find themselves a bit, mainly because of the pitching, like I was just mentioning, but you can see right now we're still obviously allowing a lot of runs. We still have the worst amount of runs allowed in our division at the moment with 489, but it's not too far off to teams like the Rangers, who've allowed 429, so the pitching definitely is doing relatively well by comparison to some other teams as well. But the runs scored is still definitely not very good. As you can see, we've scored 288. The next lowest in our division is 411. So obviously we need to start finding ways to get more offense going. So I'm hoping that's something we could build upon over the next few seasons with guys coming into our lineup and also having up high draft picks in the draft. But what's interesting as well is us being 27 and 62, we are currently obviously the worst team in the entire AL. But if we go to the NL, we are also still the worst, but not by very much. We are only by 9 wins behind the Giants. So technically, even though we're a really bad team, we are still almost getting closer to being a team that's probably not going to be the worst in the league, which is very, very nice. And the last and final comment is from Dylan Burrows, who says, number 3, Chang, if possible, Chu after. Number 39, Walter Lee. Number 72, Saito. Number 77, Tom Chen, or pick after. Number 107 doesn't have one. And then he says, there was also a Yamamoto around 115 to 140-ish. Didn't see exactly where. He might be one to scout and take, even if he is a long shot. So I went ahead and looked at the rest of this draft class to try and find that Yamamoto guy. And I found him, so Michael Yamamoto is going to get scouted out a little bit more. Obviously, you can see he looks like he could be a good reliever, so that's somebody that we might end up drafting, depending if he's good or not. I also put Chang back on here just so he could get his interest a little bit higher. And then Tom Chen from last episode is also going to be there to get scouted out as well, because we don't really know that much about him at the moment. But I'm hoping that he would be a decent starting pitcher if we have the chance to draft him. So those are the guys we're going to scout out for the last week or so before the draft, but I'm excited for this draft, I think. I don't know if it's going to be really the best draft in the world. Obviously, Vincent Chang should be pretty decent, and it does give us another closer to add to our closer pool, because obviously we have Chung right now. We don't have anybody else really, so Chang behind him would be a very good thing for this team. And just maybe making us even stronger in terms of pitching, even though we're technically already really strong. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of good batters in this draft class again, so that kind of sucks. But hopefully, in the next few years, we can find some good batters, because obviously that's where we're kind of struggling at the moment, is finding ways to score some runs rather than allow runs. So anyways, there's that. Let's get into this draft and see how this team simulates as well for a little bit, obviously, because we have to do the signing phase as well for these prospects. So let's go to the draft, I guess, considering the draft is at the end of this week. And we'll see if our team can win some more games here, because obviously one more win will mean the best season in franchise history at this point. All right, let's go to week and see what we got here. Walter Choi is back. That's actually pretty good considering Walter Choi was injured long-term last time, I think. And then Tom Lee is also back for our lineup. So let me just make sure those guys are in the right spot. Walter Choi, actually, no, Walter Choi was a different one. I was thinking of a different Walter, I think. I just got to make sure they're in the right spot. Actually, wait, Walter Choi's a batter, right? Or is he a pitcher? I feel like he's a pitcher, but maybe not. I honestly can't remember what he is. Let me go back to the lineup. He might have been a batter. Where is you, Choi? He might have been. Oh, yeah, he is a batter. Okay. He's already back into the lineup, so that's good. And then Tom Lee being back in the lineup is very nice for our lineup. I will actually readjust this already based on batting average, so let's go ahead and do that just to make sure our MLB team is getting the best people on base as possible, or up in the lineup as possible. So we'll readjust this accordingly and see if that helps us out or not. Hopefully the MLB team can win some more games, because obviously it would be good for the futures team. CO has been actually pretty decent this year in his rookie season, so I've been impressed with a couple guys on this roster for sure in terms of batting. We'll get Yu Chang a little bit higher in the lineup as well. That's good on that side, and let's also make sure this side is good too. 229, 207 is fine. 243 will get CO a little bit higher. Actually, way higher than that too. There you go, that's good. And then Nishi's a 241. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this team ends up finishing like this season, because I think this is definitely going to end up being our best season yet if we have not won a game yet in this episode. So there you go, that's all adjusted. We're still 27-63. Will we hit our 28th win before the draft? Auto on Richard Chen. Unfortunately, he strained his bicep, but it's only for a few days. Another shutout win. We had a lot of shutout wins in the last episode, and we continue this episode with another one, which is great. 1-0 win over Philadelphia. We've had 7 shutouts, I think, this season, which is pretty damn impressive considering the quality of this roster. Okay, so we should be getting into the draft now. Yes, we are. Let's add some prospects to our shortlist, and hopefully not a lot of people disappeared, because that'd be kind of annoying. So Vincent Chang, our scouts say he's the 6th best prospect in this draft class, so we should be getting a good player here regardless, which is nice. I hope that David Chu could somehow fall to the next round, but there's a chance that he'll go first round, which means we won't be able to draft him. But if we do have a chance to draft him, I will be pretty ecstatic about that, because the better prospects we could get in this draft class, the better. What else we got here? Oh yeah, it's a big gap between prospects. I forgot about that. Hopefully nobody decided to withdraw from the draft, because then we wouldn't be able to draft really anybody else. There's Walter Lee, who's looking pretty good. Yeah, I think I like Walter Lee a lot, just because even though he's 23, he looks like he's like an MLB ready kind of guy almost. So always good to get an MLB ready player, even if they have low potential, because maybe they could outgrow it. What else we got here? So there's 3 guys so far. We should have a couple more at least in the back half of this draft class. Yeah, there's Tom Chen, who is still looking actually pretty good. Yeah, Tom Chen could end up being maybe a decent steal. He might be worth the risk for sure. So what else we got here? I think there should be at least a couple more here before the rest of those guys were probably going to go off the list, right? Yeah, there's Yamamoto. This is what... yeah, Yamamoto might be actually worth taking. He's 100% scouted now, actually. So yeah, I think he's definitely worth taking based on that. Because, what was it? Dylan was saying he might be worth the risk. And to me, it looks like he could be good. Obviously, he could be a D potential, but he could also be a C potential. Even if he's a D potential and has like a 61 overall, he could definitely outgrow that. So Yamamoto might be somebody we take if we have the chance. But also there's like Saito. We do need third baseman help and stuff, so I might be willing to take him instead because of that. Vincent Wong doesn't really look that good, but we'll add him to our short list just in case there's nobody else we could take at that point. Oh, look, there's Luis again. We'll see if he ends up getting drafted, and that's it. So we only have 7 options this year. So Chang, Chu, Lee, Chen, Yamamoto, Saito, and Wong. And there's a chance that we might not even get Chu because he might not fall to the next round. So we might barely just have enough players that we could actually draft this year, which kind of sucks. But let's go to the draft and see what this draft class is looking like. Hopefully it's a decent draft for us. And then hopefully next year we actually get some drafts that actually help us in the infield and in the outfield. Because right now Obviously, we've been drafting so many good pitchers, but we haven't been able to find really those type of stud type of players in terms of batting. So, anyways, San Francisco is on the clock first, and it's Miami. Then it is us. So let's start up the 2000 and I don't know what draft it is at this point, but 9 years into the future, whatever that is. Milt Gaines goes first overall to the San Francisco Giants. Kind of surprised he's not even wearing a jersey. He's just wearing a sweater. So that's kind of interesting. And yeah, he's a starting pitcher. Maybe a high overall, high potential. Never know. Could also be not good. It's going to be interesting to see how good these players in this draft are compared to us. Jeff Reed might be a fantastic steal there, as he was the high number 1 projected prospect by the MLB. He goes to the Marlins at number 2, which leaves us with Vincent Chang for number 3. Gives us another closer, which is nice. He looks very balanced as well. And that's exactly what we kind of need, is more closer depth. And just in general, we need more hitting, obviously, but having another closer behind Chung is good. So Chung and Chang are going to be our closer combination. So welcome aboard to Vincent Chang. And of course, it has to still show him in the Oakland Athletics jersey, which is kind of annoying because I would like to get a screenshot of him for thumbnails and stuff, but I have to always go with like my second round pick instead because of the fact that it shows them in the Oakland A's jersey still. But there is Vincent Chang. Okay. Now we'll see what the AI is taking. Hopefully David Chu stays off the board until the second round. There is some competitive round bounce picks as well before our pick next. So I am kind of scared that Chu will probably go way earlier than anticipated. Peter Blackburn is the next one to go after our pick. Might be a very solid pitcher. He is already 22 though. He goes to Baltimore. Julio Vasquez going to the Royals. So another starting pitcher. A lot of pitchers here early on. Let's see who goes to the Reds. Reggie Almanzar going to the Reds. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of pitchers in the first round, but if we see like a consistency thing where there's like a lot of third basemen going, maybe that means this draft will have good third basemen in it. So, Kevin Nix going to the Texas Rangers. Yeah, it's like literally all starting pitchers so far. Who's going to be the first infielder to go? Giuseppe Falk, another starting pitcher going to the Twins. Interesting name in Giuseppe. Makes me think of like pizza in Italy for some reason. Sam Nugent is the first infielder to go. Second baseman to the Pittsburgh Pirates from New Jersey. So we'll see how good that guy ends up being. Andre Oakley, another starting pitcher, going to the Mariners at number 10. He's going right where he was pretty much projected to go. The Rockies, what are they going to take? Andy Batista, another starting pitcher. Yeah, this first round feels like it's going to be literally all starting pitchers almost, based on how it's going so far. The Tigers at 12 take a center fielder in Michael Mamula. So there's the first outfielder of the draft. Interesting. Michael Mamula. What a name. Steve Brito, another outfielder, a right fielder, going to the Boston Red Sox. Maybe a bit of a reach considering he was projected to go in the second round, but maybe he's actually really good. Another second baseman going, Adrian Ramos. He goes to the Phillies. So a couple of second basemen in this first round as well. So maybe good second baseman in this draft. Maybe some good outfielders because Steve Clemente also just goes. Another right fielder. I like to see if there's a pattern with this. If there is some good outfielders and second basemen, then hopefully some of those Asian guys we were looking at are those positions, which doesn't seem to be the case, unfortunately. The first shortstop of the draft going, Carlos Guevara? Yeah, Guevara going to the Brewers. We'll see how good that guy is. He's projected to go late first round. Peter Hayes, another starting pitcher, going to the Mets. He was projected to be the number 5 player in this draft, so that could be a fantastic steal there for the Mets if he is actually that good. David Colon going, he was actually projected as the second best prospect in baseball this year, and the Dodgers might have stolen him at 18 if he's actually good. Lorne Ramirez going to the Cubs, another outfielder, a right fielder against. There are 3 right fielders in this first round. Makes me feel like there's going to be some good right fielders in it. And another shortstop going as well in Teddy Courtney. So now a lot of infielders and outfielders going. The early stages were all starting pitchers, but now you're starting to get a lot of infielders. Glenn Palbicki going to the Nationals. What are the White Sox going to take at 22? Cole Richter, another starting pitcher. So far, it looks like a lot of teams are going off the board with their pitchers, which makes me feel like David Chu is definitely going to go before our next pick, but I hope that he doesn't because that would be great. Vince Venable, the double V, going to St. Louis. He was projected by our scouts, said 107. MLB said 96. That's very early, so there could be some major reaches in this draft. Johnny Zararte going to the Blue Jays, another center fielder. So yeah, a couple center fielders, couple right fielders, couple second basemen, shortstops in this first round. Another catcher, Luka Evans, going to Houston. Yeah, I feel like this draft class is going to be a really weird one. I just don't know why. I feel like other teams are going to make some weird mistakes. Jimmy Harmon going to San Diego, another shortstop. What are the Diamondbacks going to take at 27? Jose Pena, another second baseman. Yeah, it seems like a pattern. Second baseman, shortstops, catchers, and outfielders right now. Cleveland at 28 is going to take Freddy Rosa, third baseman. Okay. So some good third baseman, which means hopefully that third baseman in Saito we're looking at is okay as well for a late round pick. Reynaldo Vasquez going to the Braves at 29. And the Angels, who won the World Series last year and are off to a good start again this year in our division, takes second baseman Jeff Simpson. Okay. So we still have everybody on our board so far. We just have a couple more picks to go through. David Hatfield, the closer, going to the Washington Nationals. What are the Diamondbacks going to take here with the promotion incentive picks? Andrew Hafey, another pitcher, okay. David Chu, please just last a little bit longer for me, my boy. Brewers at 33. I knew it. God damn it, man. I knew he wasn't going to last. So David Chu, unfortunately, is headed off to the Milwaukee Brewers at 33 with the competitive round balance pick, which means we are not going to get David Chu as well in this draft, which means our next pick might be having to be Walter Lee, unfortunately. Esteban Del Villar going to the Diamondbacks. John Coburn going to the Guardians, another outfielder. God damn it, man. Why did Chu have to go already? Why didn't we have a competitive round balance A pick? Nicholas Lawson going to the Pirates, a relief pitcher. That's the first relief pitcher in this draft, so that's interesting. What about the Rockies? Chad Wilson, another relief pitcher. All right. And then Kansas City at 38. What are they going to take? They take Leandro Marin. I almost said Leonardo, but it's Leandro. Okay. So let me just look at here on the message thing. So yeah, Walter Lee is next, and it's Saito. Okay, so Walter Lee will be our next selection. He looks like he's going to be a pretty solid reliever. He is 23 already, but I think he could definitely be a useful guy. He looks pretty balanced and looks pretty good for his age too. So Walter Lee, welcome to Tokyo. And hopefully you're a decent reliever. We don't necessarily need more good relievers, but it does give us more depth in that bullpen, which is going to be nice. All right, let's move to our next pick and hope that every one of these guys are still on the board, because obviously we do not have a lot of options otherwise. Okay, all four of them are still there. That's good. That's a look at the rest of the second round in case you guys wanted to see pretty much. So our next pick is going to be a competitive round balance B pick, which means we're going to take Tom Chen with this selection, correct? No, it was Saito next. Yeah, it was Saito. Saito is supposed to go next here, so we'll take Saito, I guess. Tom Chen looks really good, though, at 40% scouted, but we do have, trying to think. I think Tom Chen would go next round. So yeah, we'll go with Saito. We'll do what Dylan was mentioning, and then Yamamoto also could end up being a decent steal at some point, but I'm going to go with Saito because we need third base help, so let's take Jeffrey Saito. Might not be the highest potential in the world, but still gives us more depth. Let's go to our next selection. Tom Chen still on the board. Okay, that's good. Tom Chen is still on the board, so Tom Chen would be next, and then we would take Yamamoto. Vincent Wong is somebody I don't really need, but we might have to take him. So, Tom Chen, welcome aboard. Welcome to Tommy Chen. And our next selection, Yamamoto is still there. Good. Good. We are going to have to probably take somebody I don't want to draft, which means then they're going to end up not getting signed. But Michael Yamamoto is now a member of us as well. And Vincent Wong will be our last selection we could actually sign, which means this last pick does not matter too much because we aren't going to be able to draft anybody here, I think. I got to just double check and make sure there's no Asians I missed. Because if there's another one on the board, that would be good, but doesn't seem like it. Just got to double check here. We don't have a lot of time. Hey, look, if I was not doing Asians only, I could draft Luis, but obviously we are not doing that. So let's just get this auto-simmed. And then obviously we cannot sign Raul Maldonado, who was taken with our last selection. That's okay. Okay, so the draft is complete. I think it should be an okay draft for us, but once again, obviously, it dropped off in quality afterwards. I wish we would have been able to get drafting David Chu, because if David Chu fell to us, I think I would be a lot happier with our draft, but he didn't fall to us. All right, game against Angels, we lose 7-0. We shouldn't have anybody in the home run derby yet because we're not a hitting team, and we do not. Those are the home run derby contestants, just in case you guys wanted to take a look at that. But who made the All-Star game for us this year? That's something I am curious on. Who is the representatives of the Tokyo Tropic Turtles? Last year we had 2 All-Stars, so it'll be interesting to see if we have 2 All-Stars again this year or if it's just one person. So who do we got here in terms of pitchers? Anybody in the pitching wise? Nobody pitching. That's kind of surprising considering we should have a pitcher there. Yeah, nobody in the pitching department has made the All-Star game this year, which means who made it in terms of batting? I don't really know who would make it, so none of these guys. Let's see. William Yokoyama is our All-Star representative. So shout out to Yokoyama for making the All-Star game in his rookie season. 6 home runs, 28 RBIs, only a 214 average, so I don't feel like he deserves it that much, but they have to have a representative. So shout out to Yokoyama still for making it. Anybody else make the All-Star game for our team? No, it doesn't look like it. So it's only William Yokoyama going to the All-Star game this year. Kind of surprised considering I thought our pitching was doing really good, but I guess there's just too much good pitchers in the league at the moment. All right, let's advance the day. Can we sign our prospects soon here? Should be able to within the next day or two. Let's go through another day. 10-4 loss. Yamamoto's injured. That's okay. Let's go auto on that. In the end of this week, we should be able to sign our prospects. 9-6 win over Houston. So there's 3 wins this month. Let's go to sign draft picks now and see if we can get Chang signed up. Because obviously he's the most important one of the bunch. Should be able to sign him easily. But he already declines the first offer, but that's okay. We should be able to offer all these other guys too because they should have good interest. Walter Lee will also decline. That's kind of surprising. What about Tom Chen? Can't offer him yet. His is 33%, so we should probably get that higher. Michael Yamamoto, we could offer a contract to already, and he's already accepted, so that's good news. And we also have Saito, who needs his interest higher. And everybody else we have to wait on. Actually, Vincent Wong, I guess I could sign already too, which he already accepts, of course, because he's not going to be super good. All right, let's get Chang's interest higher, I guess, for now. And we'll advance a few days and see if we can get those guys signed up, because obviously we need them to sign. 2 more losses in a row. Yamamoto's back. Let's go auto on that. And let's go back to sign picks and see if we could get our first round pick, Vincent Chang, signed up because he's important. There you go. Vincent Chang is in. It's good. And we'll try Walter Lee again as well. And he's also accepted. So we just need Chen and Saito to get their interest higher. Obviously, we cannot sign this Raul Maldonado guy, but if he's actually really good, that would kind of suck. But obviously, we can't sign him anyways. So 36% interest and 46%. We'll just keep it on there for now. Should be able to get that interest higher. I'm kind of a bit worried about the 36% guy, so that's why he's on the first priority. There's another win over Texas, 4-2. Tom Koo getting credited with the victory. Love to see it. Okay, one more day and then we could be signing Saito, which is exciting. Hopefully we can get Saito signed because I think he's going to be a good little depth piece for our lineup. So we'll see if we could get him signing up. Yes, he does. Which means we're just waiting on Tom Chen, who's up to already 46% interest. So we should get Chen signed because he's been the first priority for the last few days. Hopefully he's good. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, he's looking okay so far. Not the best in the world anymore, but it's okay. Gives us more depth, which is always good. There you go. Chen is accepted, which means we have everybody signed because we cannot sign Mr. Raul Maldonado. If he ends up being a good player on another team, it's going to kind of suck a lot, but it is what it is. All right, 6 days until the signing deadline, which means we could advance multiple days here till the end of the month. There's another win. No thank you on that. We do not care about Raul Maldonado. Stan Nguyen is back. That's exciting. I forgot that he was out with an injury still. So we'll go to pitching rotation. Yeah, Stan Nguyen is returned. So we'll get him back into the higher spot of the lineup. But yeah, Stan being back, that's very, very nice. I forgot about his injury. No on that. And auto on that. No on that. And Eric Yamashita has torn his groin. He'll be out for 1 to 2 months. Oh, man, the amount of injuries we get every single thing just sucks. And we did win our last game in a month as well, so we're now 32-78. We should have one more day left to sign and stuff. Yep, we do. Okay, so we got to go one more day before we could find out how good our draft was. Hey, we win our first game of August as well. We're 33-78 at this point. We'll definitely take a look at some player stats again at the end of this episode after we take a look at this draft class. But was Vincent Chang a great closer? He probably was. Let's take a look and see how good we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. He's a 71 overall, which is much higher than I thought. Only B potential, which I was hoping he'd be more an A potential, but that overall is fantastic for an 18-year-old, and he's exactly what we need behind Chung. So really like that selection with Vincent Chang. His hits per 9 are fantastic. His Ks per 9 is good. Like, yeah, he's pretty balanced for a closer. He's definitely going to be really good. So Vincent Chang looking good. Has a 4-seam fastball, slider, changeup. I like that selection a lot. Our next pick, Walter Lee, 65 at 23 is pretty good. C potential, obviously not super high, but he's looking like he's going to be a good reliever. Good hits per 9, walks per 9, home runs per 9. His strikeouts per 9 is a little bit low, but he could definitely be still a good reliever at the MLB level. Like, I think he could definitely end up making our roster at some point, which is very exciting. Our next selection, Jeffrey Saito, lower than I thought and worse than I thought. We thought he was going to be like maybe a B, C potential guy. He's a D potential, 51 and 18. The good thing is at least he's only 18, which means maybe he outgrows that potential. But yeah, he's not as good as I was hoping for. He's definitely more of a defensive third baseman. But we'll see if he ends up growing into something being better for this team or not. So there is Saito. Tom Chen. Ugh. Yikes. Tom Chen is not good either. Does have fantastic stamina, but that doesn't really mean anything. That means just he can go long into games, but his hits per 9, his Ks 9, his walks per 9, his home runs 9, all very low. So he needs to work on those for sure. But his arm and accuracy is good. But being a 48 at 18 is a little low. His potential also is trash. So he needs to outgrow that for sure, or else he's not going to be super good. He might be just like a kind of like a double AAA pitcher. We do already have a lot of major league pitchers anyways, but still. And then Michael Yamamoto is a 55 at 21, C potential. Good does Ks per 9, so strikeouts a 9. Everything else is kind of mid. His velocity is good, though, and breaking, too. I don't know. This draft class definitely not super good. And in our last pick, Vincent Wong actually has a good starting overall, which is not what I was anticipating, but he's also a D potential. 65 overall, so maybe he could outgrow it. He does have 99 velocity, which is fantastic, but obviously not really the potential we were hoping for. So in general, this was probably one of our worst drafts yet, I would say. Obviously, Vincent Chang is great, but these other picks, I mean, Walter Lee's looking good. These other picks are like Saito, Chen, Yamamoto, Wong. I don't really know if I like any of those selections that much, but at least it gives us more depth, and maybe these guys can outgrow their potential. That's all we got to really hope for at this point. So there's our draft. Let's take a look at the rest of the teams across the league and see what they end up getting. So here's the Mariners. They look like they had a solid draft. Andre Oakley's not bad. Miguel Valenzuela's not bad either. And then they had some other guys that look okay. Oh, wait, there's Luis. Speaking of which, he went to the Mariners, so he's not going to drain Lewis, but that's where he went, and he actually got signed. So he doesn't have really good potential, though, unfortunately. So I don't think he'll make the majors at some point, but still will be probably a double-A player in his career. Texas, not great. Not great. Looks like another team that had kind of a weird draft. I feel like this is going to be a weak draft for most teams, though, because so far we're not seeing really any stud players. The Braves, some okay players as well, but nothing crazy. There's a good player, though. Jeff Reed, who went second overall to the Marlins. 72 at 19 with 93 potential. He was projected as the #1 prospect in baseball, and he might be the best player from this class for sure. Some other guys are looking okay, like overall-wise, but not a great draft really for most teams so far up to this point. The Mets, we thought might have gotten a good steal with this pitcher, but unfortunately he's not very good either. C potential. Their best prospect was Douglas O'Rarick as a catcher. And then the Phillies didn't sign 2 of their picks, and one of their picks had only 51 potential. Yikes. Okay. But he's got great contact hitting. So maybe this guy actually does way better than anticipated. He's a 63 overall with 51 potential. Yeah, that Fernando Cora pick is actually kind of interesting. What about Washington? Yeah, a lot of teams so far not having insane drafts. Like, they're having okay drafts, but they're not having, like, that stud player. The Cubs, Lauren Ramirez is looking fantastic, though. 75 at 18, 84 potential. Great steal there for the Cubs. Rick Wood, unfortunately, is unknown because he didn't sign. The Reds, Estevan Salazar, 62 at 23. A little bit low, but 89 potential is one of the better potentials we've seen so far in this class. What else we got here? Oh no, David Chu and stuff like that. Charlie Guarva is really good, so great steal there from the Brewers. But David Chu, unfortunately, if we would have been able to draft him, we would have had a better draft class, I think, for sure. But unfortunately, went a little bit early. He's a 61 and 18 with B potential. Not as high as we were anticipating, but still would have been nice to have a pitcher like that. John Silva is okay. Peter Rivera is a good steal. Yeah, so far the Brewers have the most A potential guys in this draft class. Sam Nugent is pretty good. Yeah, really good actually. Great contact hitter as well there for the Pirates, so good steal there for Pittsburgh. Everybody else kind of like mid to solid. The Cardinals, Vince Venables is really good. 59 at 18, 93 potential. So shout out to the Cardinals. Everybody else is kind of average. The Diamondbacks, 2 A potential guys. Jose Pena is good, 65 at 21, 94 potential. And you have Andrew Hafey, who's a 72 at 18 with 91 potential. That's a fantastic pick there. He was one of those guys that I think went in the prospect incentive ones or the competitive round bounce A picks. So that's a really good one. Del Villar has a high overall, so it looks like the Diamondbacks might have had one of the best drafts in this class. The Rockies, I mean, Batista's got a good starting overall. Same with Valencia, but they're not super high potential. The Dodgers, yeah, David Colon is not very good. 56 overall, 74 potential. They didn't have a single A potential player. Their best prospect in terms of potential was Sean Voylet. Huh, okay. The Padres also didn't really have that insane of a draft either. Yeah, I think a lot of teams actually had some bad drafts, so it wasn't just us at least. It wasn't just us. Milt Gaines, who went to the Giants at first overall, is decent. 69 at 20, 88 potential. So that was the first overall selection this year. And then everybody else is kind of mid. Yeah. And then the Orioles. Peter Blackburn, who went, I think, just after our selection, is okay, but he is 22 already. This guy's got higher potential than he is overall-wise. He's very well built. I hate these type of players that have, like, low potential, but they're higher overalls than their potential. Like, you guys are pretty much right, though, where they should be, basically their potential should be at least their overall. But it's kind of dumb when it's like, oh yeah, you're a 63 potential, but you're a 73 overall, so you're actually better than advertised. It's kind of dumb when it's like that. The Boston Red Sox, Craig James is okay. Great potential. Low overall at 21, but that's okay compared to the rest of this class. The Yankees, Steve Clemente is really solid. 66 at 18 with a 90 potential. Nice. Everybody else is kind of average. The Rays had a pretty solid draft, looks like. Teddy Courtney's really solid. Orrin Locke is okay. But Brent Nunez is a good steal, but he is a 61 at 22, so a little bit low. And Nathan Hare is a little bit of a low overall, but he at least has some good potential. The Toronto Blue Jays, not a good draft for them. Zarate has a solid overall, though, for an 18-year-old. But yeah, they didn't sign their second pick. Carlos Cruz is not really good. Montevallo, not very good. And then Robbie Zeimer, also low-ass potential. Cole Richter, really good pick there for the White Sox. I think he was a mid-second round pick, or first round pick, so that's a good one. 62 at 18, 92 potential. Damon Ritchie's not bad. But there's so many like deep potential players in this draft class, it looks like. Freddie Rosa, I would say. 18 years old and looking decent. Yeah, 61, 88 potential. Okay. Oh, there's Mick McMahon. That's such a weird name. Mick McMahon. It's Mick. but he didn't get signed, unfortunately. The Tigers. The Tigers might have had one of the best drafts in terms of not drafting deep potential guys, at least because everybody's in the green. So at least, there's a deep potential guy, of course, after I said that. But still, they had one of the better draft classes in terms of not having a super low potential guy. The Royals might have found the steal of the draft in the second round. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. 60 on 19, 93 potential for Leandro Marin. Huh. And then there's Julio Vasquez, who's not bad either. So the Royals did okay. Their last 3 picks, not so much. The Twins. Giuseppe Falk's looking pretty good. Pedro Leon. Looks like they had a good, decent draft. Corey Russell's really good. And then the Astros, Luka Evans is decent. 68 at 18 is pretty good. 86 potential is also really serviceable, so that's a nice pick. Afterwards, they didn't do anything really. And then the Angels, who won the World Series, obviously didn't have good picks in this draft class. Ryan Rhodes is a good overall, but he's 23. He could be useful still, but they definitely didn't draft super well. And that's it. So I think even though we had a bad draft, I think a lot of other teams had a bad draft because technically, who is the best potential player in this draft class? You're looking at Jeff Reed, probably is the best player in this class, I think. Actually, maybe him. Actually, it's probably going to Guevara, who's got 95 potential. He's definitely the best potential guy in the draft class. There's a couple 8 potentials, but it didn't seem like a lot compared to some other years that we've seen. Like, a lot of teams got 8 potential guys, but some of them were like lower end 8 potentials. Or actually, some of them are B potentials for that matter, too. Okay. So there is that. Let's take a look at what our players have been up to. Also, there is some big contract extensions this offseason, which I'll show you guys that actually. Let's do that right now. So these players are going to need some contracts this offseason, and I want your guys' opinion on what we should do with them. So I would recommend probably signing Stan Nguyen long term, because obviously we need to have our bullpen and our pitching rotation signed up long term. We already got 2 guys signed up. Stan Nguyen would be the next of the bunch. Yamazaki is getting close to arbitration eligible, so I would probably lock him up long term, considering he's actually off to a pretty good start to his career with his batting average, his OPS. He's also up to an 82, which is the highest out of our batters. Philip Chung, we do still have a little bit more leeway with his contract, but I would recommend sometime soon locking him up, but not maybe yet. Maybe soon, though. David Naw, obviously, we could still wait a little bit, maybe before leaving him a long-term contract. Sato. Yeah, we probably have to give Sato a long-term contract soon. Yeah, probably. He is already 28, which is a little bit risky, but he is almost in arbitration, so that's a bit scary. Tom Lee also should probably get a long-term contract soon. And then everybody else is probably going to be cheaper, but we do have a lot of guys that are up for renewal, as we normally do. So there's the contract situation. Let's take a look at how good our players have been doing up to this point. Just a quick little update, nothing crazy. We'll just go through each league. But let's just see what players have been up to. Like Russell Lim is off to a great start in AA, batting at 298. Obviously, he was injured, I think, for a little bit, though. William Banks doing okay with a 237. Yamazaki at 237. Taguchi at 251. Russell Yang on a 284. Not bad. Tom Cho on a 298. Tom Cho has been killing it as a deep potential. Tom Cho is definitely in line for a boost, and maybe he'll get into the C potential range soon. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. What about AAA? Theodore Lee batting at 275. He's getting close to Major League bound, which is nice. 275 is great. Oka on a 264 is also good. Shin on a 237. Nomo on a 296. He's probably Major League bound next year and maybe being our third baseman. That's probably where I would play him. William Chung on a 201. Sasaki on a 195. That's not great, but he is a Rule 5 pickup, so he's not even really that good. Raymond Park on a 239. And that's pretty much that. And Major League-wise, Peter Yamazaki on a 269 so far. He's been pretty good. Sato's on a 262. Seo's on a 253. Nishi on a 249. Tom Lee on a 242. 16 home runs already. Chu on a 225. Yu Chang on a 220. Yokoyama on a 222. He made the All-Star game. And it's Sasaki on a 199. From the bench, Michael Wong on a 190. The Takashi with a 265. Pretty solid. So there is our batters. Let's take a look at our pitching rotation stats now. In terms of relief pitchers, because we have no starters in Double-A, Pete Quo has been fantastic, actually. Like, really good. Like a 2.66 ERA and a 1.17 WHIP and a 5-1 record. Pete Quo is going to get a boost for sure, I feel like. Philip Barabu has also been fantastic. He's 7-1. How is our Double-A team doing so well? Our Double-A team could be a playoff team based on how these pitchers have been. But who knows? Tommy Wong, 0-2, but really good stats. Tom Ann's got good stats, and he's got a winning record. Nakamura's got a winning record. Is Double-A in a playoff spot? Based on this, I'm feeling like they might be. Wanyan Chang's been good too. And then Choi's been good. A little bit of a high whip, but that's okay. Maybe our Double-A team's in the playoffs, but it depends, I guess, on our batters too. In terms of Triple-A, we do have actually some pitchers down there. Vincent Tan has been solid, but he does obviously have a losing record because of the team. 22 games started, 10 quality starts, not bad. Hayashi's been solid, looks like too. Kenny Rabu has been a little bit but I don't know. Yamamoto has been solid in the relief pitcher department. David Lim's been Hiroyuki Yamada's been solid, and then we also have nobody else. In terms of the MLB, Parker's been great. He's up to a 91 overall. My God. Parker's insane. He's got a 3.5 ERA and a 1.2 WHIP right now. 5-10 record. What's his FIP looking like? He's got 16 quality starts this year already. A 3.22 FIP. Parker's insane. I got to take a look at the award leaders just in case anybody's up there for us. Walter Jung's actually been not too bad either. Up to an 87 overall. 22 games started, 8 quality starts. And a FIP that's worse than last year, but at least he still seems to be improving a bit. Stan Nguyen obviously just came back from injury. 13 games started, 6 quality starts. Still doing worse than last year, but hopefully he improves. And then David Na's definitely been one of our worst of the bunch, I think. Yeah, maybe. But 8 quality starts isn't too bad. Matsui. How about Matsui? 22 games started, 7 quality starts. Leonard Sato has been good, though, it looks like. Yamamoto has been solid. Tom Koo might be struggling as of late. Let me take a look at his FIP. 4.88. Yeah, a little bit. And Philip Chung has been 21 saves to 4 blown saves. Not bad. FIP 5.61. It's his first season, though. I'm not going to be mad at some of those guys. All right. So there is the pitching department. I am curious if our Double-A team's actually in a playoff spot at the moment. They are not. They're 9-24, but they have a lot of guys in the relief pitcher department that are winning games. That's kind of surprising. I actually should take a look at some standings related stats here quickly too. Apparently they're allowing a lot of runs still, which is kind of surprising. So the starting pitchers are probably doing trash, but the relievers are doing good, which makes sense considering our starting pitchers aren't any prospects. And then there's Triple-A stats, and in the MLB we are 33-78, which is not too bad. Where does that rank us in the league? Still dead last likely, right? Yes. But that's okay. That's okay. Let's take a look at some award leaders and see if we have anybody that's potentially going to win an award this season. Because I feel like we should probably, but who knows. Nobody up there for the Cy Young, unfortunately, even though Iwamur's been good. It's probably because of his win-loss ratio. Anybody up there for Rookie of the Year? Vincent Seo is number 3. Looks like it's going to go to Easton Solis, likely. But Seo at least being a nominee is kind of nice. Looks like we're not going to have anybody up there for an award this season still, even though this year I feel like has definitely been a good step in the right direction. Yeah. Anybody up there for any Silver Slugger awards? Maybe? Nope. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. Let me get rid of these notifications here quickly. I also did want to take a look at the Player of the Month stuff for a second here. Looks like nobody ever won a Player of the Month for our team either. Okay. I feel like still stuff are definitely trending in the right direction. Like, if we go to, like, our individual team rankings right now, I feel like we're not the worst in some of these categories anymore. We're definitely, like, worse in, like, batting average and stuff, but in terms of pitching, we should be pretty good. I would assume. We're not last in doubles, So it looks like we get some extra base hits, which is good. We're last in triples, but not by much. Last in home runs. Of course, last in RBIs. Stolen base percentage, we're actually number 1. So we're good at stealing bases. So we got good speed on the base path. So that's an exciting thing to look at, considering we're not that good offensively. Let me see. What about pitching related stats? Like ERA, we're dead last. Not by a whole lot, to be honest. So complete games. Where are we in complete games? Tied for 17th with a bunch of other teams. Shutouts. I feel like we're a lot higher in shutouts, right? Yeah, we're tied for 13th in shutouts with 7. That's not really that bad. It's not really that bad. Saves, we are dead last. Blown saves. It looks like we are tied for 24th. Hits allowed, 28th. See, we're not that bad defensively. We're really not. We are dead last in runs allowed, though. Huh. Okay. So the pitching is improving, for sure. It's just more about getting the batting to actually work. Like, we're definitely the worst team in the league. We're below a 300 win percentage right now, but we're trending in the right direction, which is good for the future of this team. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will simulate the rest of the season. I don't know if I'll go through the offseason in the next episode because I feel like last offseason obviously took over an hour long, and I don't really want those episodes being super long. So next episode might be just simulating the rest of the season and taking a look at our player stats and wrapping up the season and just seeing how everything like kind of comes together at the end of the season. Then basically before the offseason episode, I would make those adjustments to players' potentials and all that. And then we'll have an off-season episode on its own right. Then we'll get back to season simulations and all that stuff. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.